Square just released unbelievable Q2 earnings, and in this video I'm going to take you through the numbers and I'm going to update you on the stock. I'm also going to let you know if I'm going to be buying more, if I'm going to hold on to what I have, or if I'm going to be selling. What's up guys, my name's Kieran. If you're new to the channel, you're very welcome. If you've been following this channel for a while though, you'll know that I'm a huge fan of this company. However, I've been cautiously building my position on the fact that I've been expecting a pullback on Q2 earnings. I was expecting this because Square withdrew guidance and they said at the end of Q1 that they were expecting a real material impact on Q2 financials. Well Jack, you really screwed me this time, because even if there was no global issue, these earnings were unbelievable. I mean, CashApp has gone absolutely parabolic. Anyway, let's get straight into the earnings report and break down the results. So in the second quarter of 2020, Square achieved gross profit of 597 million, up 28% year over year. CashApp delivered strong growth with gross profit up 167% year over year to 281 million. Our seller ecosystem generated gross profit of 316 million, down 9% year over year. Guys, 281 million gross profit with CashApp is insane. Last quarter, Square generated about 180 million in gross profit. That's a quarter-on-quarter growth rate of 80%. Like 80% in a quarter. That's insane. Total gross profit from CashApp now has grown to nearly overtake the seller ecosystem. Their seller ecosystem then generated 316 million in gross profit, down just 9% year over year. I mean, only 9%. I was expecting these numbers to get absolutely reamed. If we look at the gross payment volume, which is a very important number for the seller ecosystem, we can see that it was 22.8 billion, down 15% year over year. Okay, last quarter it was 25.7 billion, up 14% year over year, but down from the previous quarter. Honestly guys, I was expecting this number to be much lower, and I was expecting it to have a much bigger effect on its gross profit. I mean, while this number dropped by 15%, gross profit didn't drop by 15%. I mean, if you look at the gross profit graph, you can see 597 million. Okay, up 28% year over year. Just look at it compared to Q1 of 539 million. I mean, it looks like a significant step change, and that's in light of the global issue. I mean, this was just completely unexpected. This growth, of course, is being delivered predominantly by CashApp. And if we look at the number of users on CashApp, Square say that they now have 30 million monthly active users. Okay, at the end of last year, Square had 24 million monthly active users. And honestly, I was forecasting that they would get to about 30 million at the end of this year. They've got there and it's only halfway through the year. I mean, that's bloody insane. That's 25% growth halfway through the year on its monthly active users. That's an insane number, okay? If we look at total net revenue then, it was at 1.92 billion in the second quarter of 2020. This is insane. I think the average analyst expectation here was about 1.1 billion. Okay, so 1.9 billion compared to 1.1 billion. Oh my goodness. And that's up 64% year over year. They processed 22.8 billion in gross payment volume in the second quarter of 2020, down 15% year over year. But transaction-based gross profit as a percentage of GPV was 1.29% in the second quarter, which was up 23 basis points year over year and 15 basis points quarter over quarter. Okay, so this is significant. They've managed to increase their transaction-based gross profit as a percentage of GPV, okay, which is really significant. So while GPV is declined, the percentage of gross profit they make from that GPV is going up, and this is a really good sign. But guys, the story here is all about CashApp. I mean, this has just grown at a blistering pace and there's no sign of it slowing down. It actually looks like it's even increasing, which is just insane. CashApp alone generated 1.2 billion of revenue and 281 million of gross profit, which increased 361% and 167% year over year. Oh my goodness. Now excluding Bitcoin, CashApp revenue was 325 million, up 140% year over year. I mean, 140% is still massive. But look, as I said in a previous video I made about Square, you can't really count the Bitcoin revenue for gross profit because the margins are so low. But they still generated 875 million in revenue on Bitcoin alone, okay? And the growth rate of this is absolutely insane. I mean, in the same quarter last year, they generated just 125 million in revenue from Bitcoin. So do the maths on that, it's like a 4 or 5x increase. And as I said, they don't make a lot of money off this, but it is bringing in customers. People are signing up to CashApp just to be able to buy Bitcoin. And that's ultimately leading to new users, a bigger network effect. Those users then spend money on CashApp. They buy shares, they use it for peer-to-peer transactions, and ultimately it increases the top and bottom line for the business overall. Now, a little bit off topic, but if you've been following this channel, you'll also know that I'm very, very bullish on Bitcoin. And these numbers are just insane. I mean, the amount of transaction volume they're getting through Bitcoin alone in the last month shows a really massive uptick in the number of people who are getting involved in Bitcoin, who are speculating on the price, who are buying it as a hedge against monetary inflation. I mean, these numbers are insane. If we look at operating expenses, then we can see that operating expenses were 620 million in this quarter, up 33% year over year. Product development expenses were 207 million. Sales and marketing then were 238 million. Look, what does this tell me? It tells me that Square are spending a ton of money basically on developing new products and services and on advertising to grow their user base. This is nothing new here. We know that Square is not out to make a profit. Okay, they're out to just grow at a blistering pace for as long as they can. And hey, whatever they're doing is working. So I have no complaints here whatsoever. And another thing that takes me by surprise is the earnings. So in this quarter, they reported a loss of just 11 million. Okay, it's only 11 million. When you take that into consideration on the total revenue and the gross profit that they've generated, it's basically nothing. And we know this company is not out to make an earnings. It's just out to grow. And considering, you know, the global issue and all the tailwinds that have been in this company's face for this quarter, I mean, I was expecting a much bigger loss than this. This is basically nothing in comparison to what I was expecting. If we look at the balance sheet, then we can see that they ended the quarter with 3.7 billion in available liquidity, 3.2 billion in cash equivalents, as well as 500 million available to be withdrawn from a revolving credit facility. So Square has bags of cash. There is no issue here with liquidity in the short term. In fact, they have so much money, they can continue to make small acquisitions like they've been doing for the last quarter. Okay guys, so that's the cliff notes. I mean, revenue increasing massively, 64% year over year. An incredible achievement considering what we were expecting, right? Based on guidance and everything. Gross profit, 597 million. Again, unbelievable, up 28% year over year. Again, in light of everything that's been happening, that's just insane. A net income loss of just 11 million. Again, way ahead of where I expected this to be. Gross payment volume is down as expected, but it didn't have any effect on the financials whatsoever. And the big ticker, CashApp monthly users, 30 million monthly active users, okay, up 25% in just 6 months from 24 million at the end of last year. What an unbelievable quarter. Guys, I've been averaging into this company, waiting for a dip, but it just never came. My average buy price now is around $95, but it's only a small position and not nearly as big as I had hoped I would build. At this stage though, I'm incredibly bullish on this company. They've absolutely smashed my expectations. They are doing an absolutely incredible job at all fronts, whether it's managing the seller ecosystem during this difficult time and, you know, not seeing a huge dip in gross profit even with that GPV volume going down, or whether it's absolutely killing it with CashApp. I mean, I really cannot fault this company at all. The share price has been going absolutely parabolic as a result, and there's no sign of it slowing down. At this stage now, I'm just going to keep averaging in. I think long term this company has unbelievable potential, and I think in hindsight, clearly waiting for a pullback was the wrong thing to do. I mean, to put it in perspective, this company is just 10 years old, guys. 10 years old. Can you believe that? And look at the numbers they're putting up. Can you imagine where this company could be in 10 years? I think the potential here is unbelievable. I mean, there is risks which I explored in previous videos, but as time goes on, those risks in my mind become less and less. The ability this company has to execute is just unbelievable. And while there's other companies that do have more cash than this company has, you know, it's not all about money, it's about execution, it's about management. It's about being culturally relevant, which this company has done unbelievably. And that's made all the more apparent by the growth in Bitcoin revenue, I think. You know, this company has the fingers on the pulse, and for their target market, they're doing an incredible job of delivering services that they want and growing their revenue per customer and growing their customer base. It's just insane the numbers they put up. Okay guys, so let me know what you think. Have these numbers been as big of a surprise for you as they have for me? All right. As always, if you got value from this video, please give it a like. Okay, it really helps grow the channel. And if you haven't yet, subscribe to the channel for more investing related content just like this. That's it. Have a lovely day. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.